Welcome to long-form content of Tech Bytes and News. This is a compilation on latest news and articles featured on Hacker News. You can find the original links of articles in the description. Please like and subscribe to support future content. Hope you enjoy.
Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today we're diving into Andrew Chen's insightful piece. My product went viral on social media, but all I got were these shitty users. It's a really interesting look at the pitfalls of viral growth. Right?
Absolutely. The title itself is hooking. He paints a picture of a seemingly successful launch, but then reveals the harsh reality. It's a common dream, right? Going viral, instant fame. But what's the catch?
Exactly. The catch is the looky-loos. He defines them brilliantly. People who check out your product without any real intention of using it long-term. Think of it like a flash mob, a sudden surge of attention, but then everyone disperses.
So the initial spike in users isn't necessarily a good thing? That's a counterintuitive idea for many product builders.
Precisely. Chen argues that these viral spikes are often unsustainable. The initial burst fades quickly, leaving you back where you started, chasing the next fleeting moment of fame. And worse, those initial users are often low quality, less engaged, and less valuable to the business.
He mentions several negative consequences, right? Like the product not being ready for the influx of users, leading to issues with international users, power users, and even the existing loyal base. A perfect storm of problems.
Yeah, it's a total mess. He highlights the trade-off between quality and quantity. Targeted users, acquired organically through referrals or word of mouth, are far more valuable than the masses attracted by a viral video. It's the difference between a loyal fan base and a fleeting crowd.
So what's the alternative? Just slow, steady growth? That sounds boring.
Not necessarily boring, but definitely more sustainable. Chen emphasizes building durable, scalable, and valuable traction. He outlines metrics to measure these aspects, focusing on long-term engagement and retention rather than short-term spikes. Things like cohort retention, DAU/MAU ratios, and organic acquisition rates.
I see. He suggests some exceptions though, right? Situations where viral spikes can actually be beneficial, like products designed for mass appeal, or those using waitlists to filter users.
Yes, he acknowledges exceptions. Waitlists, for example, can help ensure you're attracting the right kind of user. Or, if your product is inherently designed for mass consumption, a viral spike might be a good thing. But these are exceptions, not the rule.
He also mentions raising VC funding immediately after a viral spike. A bold strategy, but it makes sense if you can use that momentum to build something long-lasting.
Exactly. It's about using the initial burst of attention strategically, not just celebrating the numbers. It's about leveraging that initial success to build a solid foundation for future growth.
So the key takeaway is to focus on high-intent users, not just sheer numbers. Quality over quantity, right?
Absolutely. Chen's article is a powerful reminder that sustainable growth requires a long-term perspective, focusing on building a loyal user base rather than chasing fleeting viral moments. It's about building a product people truly value and will stick with.
A great reminder for all of us product builders out there. Thanks for breaking down this insightful article.
My pleasure. And that's all the time we have for today's Tech Bytes and News. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today we're diving into a groundbreaking development in pain management. The FDA's approval of suzetrigine, the first non-opioid painkiller in decades. It's a massive leap forward, folks.
Wow, that's exciting. I've heard whispers about this. What makes suzetrigine so different from existing painkillers? Is it just stronger, or is the mechanism entirely new?
Exactly. It's not just stronger, it's a completely novel approach. Unlike opioids, suzetrigine targets specific sodium channels on pain-sensing nerve cells. Think of it like this. Opioids are like turning down the volume on the entire pain orchestra, while suzetrigine is like silencing specific, problematic instruments. This selectivity is key to its safety profile.
I see. So less risk of addiction, overdose, and those nasty side effects? That's a huge deal, considering the opioid crisis.
Absolutely. The article highlights a patient Terp Varan, who experienced significant pain relief post-surgery without the usual opioid-related drowsiness or nausea. She felt very lucid, which is a powerful testament to the drug's efficacy and safety.
That's compelling anecdotal evidence. But, wasn't there a lot of research focused on Navi 1.7 channels initially? Why the shift to Navi 1.8?
Yeah, there was. Initially, the focus was on Navi 1.7, considered the fuse in the pain signal pathway. But, early trials targeting Navi 1.7 yielded disappointing results. The research then shifted to Navi 1.8 and suzetrigine, which blocks Navi 1.8 with incredible potency, over 30,000 times more potent than other sodium channels. It's a testament to the persistence of researchers.
Incredible! So, it's a story of perseverance and a smarter approach to pain management. This approval is a huge win for the pharmaceutical industry, right? It validates the sodium channel targeting strategy.
Precisely. It's a major validation. For years, targeting sodium channels seemed like a daunting challenge. But suzetrigine's success shows that it's a viable path to developing safer and more effective painkillers. It opens up a whole new avenue for research and development.
This is truly a game changer. It offers hope for millions suffering from chronic pain, and it could significantly reduce opioid dependence. What are the next steps? Will we see more drugs targeting these sodium channels?
That's the million-dollar question. With this success, we can expect a surge in research and development focusing on other sodium channel subtypes. The article mentions that Navi 1.9 is another promising target. The future of pain management looks brighter than ever before. This is a remarkable achievement.
It certainly is. A truly inspiring story of scientific innovation and its potential to alleviate human suffering. Thanks for breaking down this important news for us.
My pleasure. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Tech Bytes and News. We'll be back tomorrow with more exciting updates from the world of technology and science. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating approach to 3D mesh generation. Building watertight meshes using spherical embedding. It's a really clever technique, and we'll unpack it step by step. Exciting stuff!
I'm eager to hear this. So the core problem is creating a seamless, error-free 3D mesh from a point cloud, right? Like from LiDAR data or something?
Exactly. We often get point clouds from various sources, and the challenge is connecting those points to form a continuous surface. Traditional methods like ball pivoting and Poisson surface reconstruction are great, but they sometimes leave gaps or self-intersections. That's where this spherical embedding method comes in.
Right, I see. So this new method uses a spherical projection. But a naive projection won't work because you can get overlapping points, right? That's where the unfolding comes in?
Precisely. A simple projection onto a sphere can lead to messy overlaps. The key is iteratively refining the point positions on the sphere using the Laplace-Beltrami operator. Think of it as a sophisticated unfolding process, gradually separating overlapping regions.
The Laplace-Beltrami operator. That sounds intense. Is it computationally expensive?
It's not trivial, no. The algorithm involves computing the nearest neighbors for each point, then iteratively adjusting their positions on the sphere based on the Laplacian. The author mentions that it's slower than Poisson reconstruction, but the trade-off is a guaranteed watertight mesh. A significant advantage.
So it's a trade-off between speed and guaranteed water tightness. Interesting. Does it always produce perfect results, though? I mean, are there limitations?
Well, not perfectly perfect. The author points out some limitations. For instance, the choice of the initial center point for the projection is crucial, and, even with many iterations, some jaggedness or minor self-intersections might remain, especially in complex shapes. It's not a silver bullet, you know?
I see. So it's best suited for simpler, convex objects, then? Where the guarantee of a watertight mesh outweighs the computational cost.
Exactly. The article focuses on convenience store products, water bottles, candy bars, relatively simple shapes. For those, the guarantee of a watertight mesh is a huge benefit, even if it takes a bit longer to compute. It's all about the application.
And the author mentions using this for generating synthetic images for training machine learning models. That makes sense, needing accurate volumes and rotations.
Absolutely. Having a watertight mesh allows for accurate volume calculations and reliable transformations, which are essential for creating realistic synthetic data. Very important for AI training.
So overall, this spherical embedding method offers a compelling alternative to existing techniques, especially when a watertight mesh is paramount. But it's not a replacement for everything, right? It has its niche.
Precisely. It's a valuable tool in the 3D meshing toolbox, offering a different set of strengths and weaknesses. The author even suggests combining it with other methods for optimal results. A hybrid approach might be the best solution in many cases.
That's a really insightful point. Thanks for breaking down this complex topic so clearly. It's fascinating to see how different algorithms tackle the same problem with different trade-offs.
My pleasure. And remember, listeners, you can find the code and more details in the article linked in our show notes. Thanks for tuning in to Tech Bytes and News. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating history of Quantel Paintbox, a revolutionary digital video system that redefined broadcast graphics. Get ready for a blast from the past.
I'm pumped. So, Quantel, a small UK company, essentially invented the digital paintbrush, right? That's pretty incredible.
Exactly. They started in the late 70s, but their first attempt was a bit rough around the edges. The quality wasn't broadcast ready. They scrapped the whole thing and started over. The key breakthrough? Replicating the subtlety and speed of a real painted line digitally. That was the huge challenge.
And they solved it using a pressure-sensitive stylus, not just a simple click-on, click-off mouse. That's a crucial detail, right? It allowed for nuanced brushstrokes.
Absolutely. Alvy Ray Smith at NYIT even gave up on that aspect. Quantel's innovation was to combine two video images simultaneously, allowing for rapid, overlapping brushstrokes. The pressure sensitivity was the secret sauce, allowing artists to maintain their skills in the digital realm. It wasn't just painting. They built a complete digital studio.
Wow. So this wasn't just some simple program. It was a massive, custom-built machine. I read about the hardware limitations they faced in 1980. A 330 megabytes hard drive. That's mind-boggling.
Totally. They needed 25 custom circuit boards, each packed with specialized chips, to handle the real-time processing. It had to be incredibly reliable and fast. No noticeable delay between the stylus and the screen. Think about the engineering feat involved.
And the interface. They designed it to be artist-friendly, not just a tech-heavy mess. That's where Martin Holbrook comes in, right? His menu system lasted for 25 years.
Precisely. A testament to good design. The launch in 1981 at the NAB show in New York was a huge success. Competitors were stunned by the speed and quality. Alvy Ray Smith himself commented on how impossible that level of speed was with the technology of the time.
It was an instant hit, right? The Weather Channel was one of the first buyers, and then ABC, NBC. It was a huge investment, around $450,000 in today's money. But it paid for itself by saving time and attracting viewers.
Exactly. It drastically reduced production time, and the vibrant graphics attracted more viewers, leading to increased advertising revenue. It was a game changer. And then, less than a year later, they added masking capabilities. The ability to cut and move parts of an image. They even convinced type companies to digitize their fonts.
So the digital design studio was complete. It became the industry standard for nearly a decade. But they didn't stop there, did they? They had the graphic paint box for photo manipulation, even a military version.
Right. The graphic paint box was a huge deal, manipulating images as easily as the video version handled video. The military version, though, was a bit of a side project, not a huge success. But the V-Series in 1989 made it more affordable and compact. It even became a verb. Let's paintbox this image.
Amazing! But eventually, cheaper PC-based software like Photoshop took over. It was a losing battle, but what a legacy. The Quantel Paintbox was truly revolutionary.
Absolutely. A testament to innovation and the power of a pressure-sensitive stylus. It's a story of overcoming technical limitations and creating something truly groundbreaking. Thanks for joining us on Tech Bytes and News. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of the Quantel Paintbox. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today we're diving into a fascinating paper, TopoNets, high-performing vision and language models with brain-like topography. It's a real game-changer, wouldn't you say? Exciting stuff.
Absolutely. I've been following the work on incorporating biological principles into AI for a while now. This TopoNets approach, with its focus on topographic organization, seems particularly promising. What's the core idea here?
The core is this new loss function, topoloss. It's designed to mimic the brain's structure, where neurons with similar functions cluster together. Think of it like this. Current AI models are a bit like a disorganized toolbox. Everything's jumbled. Topoloss helps organize that toolbox, making it more efficient and powerful.
So instead of a random arrangement of features, TopoNets encourage spatial organization? That's a significant departure from traditional approaches, right? I'm intrigued.
Exactly. And the amazing thing is, they've managed to do this without sacrificing performance. In fact, TopoNets are currently the highest performing supervised topographic models. They've tested it on both vision and language models. ResNets, VATs, GPT-Neo, even Nano-GPT, and seen improvements across the board.
That's impressive. But how do they actually measure this brain-like organization? What metrics are they using?
Well, they look at things like localized feature processing, meaning specific areas of the model are responsible for specific tasks, just like in the brain. They also examine dimensionality reduction and increased efficiency. And, get this, they even show that TopoNets can predict brain responses and replicate key topographic signatures observed in the visual and language cortices.
Predicting brain responses? That's a bold claim. That's pushing the boundaries of AI neuroscience convergence? I'd be interested to see the details of those experiments. What are the limitations, if any?
Well, the paper is quite new, so long-term implications are still unknown. And, while they've shown great results, the generalizability to other architectures beyond those tested needs further investigation. It's a step forward, but not the final solution.
I see. A very significant step, though. This topo-loss function seems like a powerful tool for building more efficient and biologically plausible AI models. The fact that it's adaptable to various architectures is a huge plus.
Absolutely. It opens up exciting possibilities for future research. Imagine models that are not only powerful but also more energy efficient and easier to interpret because of their inherent organization. The future of AI is looking brighter, thanks to TopoNets.
Indeed. This is a really exciting development in the field. Thanks for breaking it down for us.
My pleasure. And that's all the time we have for today's Tech Bytes and News. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time with more exciting breakthroughs in the world of technology. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today, we're diving deep into the exciting news about Android 16's Linux terminal and its newfound ability to run graphical apps. It's a massive leap forward, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I'm buzzing with excitement. The ability to run Doom, of all things, is a pretty compelling demonstration. But what's the underlying technology making this possible? Is it just magic, or is there some serious engineering behind it?
Oh, it's far from magic, though it feels like it sometimes. It's all thanks to significant improvements in Android 16's Linux terminal, specifically the addition of hardware acceleration support and a display server. Think of it as giving the Linux environment within Android the horsepower and the screen it needs to run graphical applications.
So hardware acceleration is key. That makes sense. It's not just emulating the graphics, it's actually using the phone's GPU, right? That explains the smooth performance with Doom. Amazing.
Precisely. And the display server, Weston, is the crucial piece that allows the Linux apps to communicate with the Android display. It's like the translator between the two worlds. Without it, you just have a command line interface, no visuals.
I see. So this isn't available in the current Android 16 beta, correct? When can we expect this functionality?
That's right. It's not in the current beta, but the fact that they're working on it in the open using AOSP means we might see it sooner rather than later. They've already demonstrated it running Doom, which is a pretty good benchmark. It ran surprisingly well.
Running Doom is a great proof of concept, but what about more complex applications? Will this work for professional software like GIMP?
That's where things get a little less certain. The article mentions that GIMP didn't work in their testing. So, while Doom is a great start, there's still work to be done to ensure compatibility with more demanding applications. It's a step-by-step process.
Right, it's a significant step, but not the final destination. It's exciting to think about the potential, though. This could really blur the lines between smartphones and PCs, especially considering Google's stated goal of making Android a full-fledged PC OS.
Exactly. This is a huge step towards that goal. The Android Virtualization Framework, AVF, is also playing a crucial role here, allowing Android to run other operating systems like Linux within a virtual machine. It's a powerful foundation for this kind of functionality. It's all very impressive, you know?
It really is. And the fact that it's using Debian, a widely used Linux distribution, makes it even more accessible for developers. This opens up a whole new world of possibilities for Android app development.
Absolutely. This could lead to a massive increase in the types of applications available on Android. Imagine having full-fledged desktop software running seamlessly on your phone. It's a game changer, and it's all happening thanks to the hard work of Google's developers.
It's a testament to their commitment to pushing the boundaries of what's possible on mobile devices. This is a huge win for Android users and developers alike. I can't wait to see what comes next.
Me neither. And that's all the time we have for today's Tech Bytes in News. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time with more exciting tech updates. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to Tech Bytes in News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today, we're diving deep into Jane Street's epic journey building, abandoning, and ultimately conquering the OCaml build system landscape. It's a wild ride.
I'm already hooked. So they started with OMake, right? What went wrong?
Exactly. They outgrew Omalike, needing something faster and more flexible. So they built Jenga. Ambitious.
But Jenga didn't exactly take off, did it? Uh-oh.
Nope. It was a bit too Jane Street-centric. It didn't work on Windows. And convincing others to adopt their entire build philosophy was a non-starter. They even un-open-sourced it. Ouch.
That's a bold move. So what was the next step? JBuilder, I presume?
You got it. JBuilder was a simpler, cross-platform tool designed to let others build their code without fully embracing the Jenga way. It was basically a compatibility layer, just re-executing commands every time. Ingenious, really.
And then, the unexpected happened. People loved it.
Exactly. It was ridiculously fast. 5 times faster than OCaml build. That, and its portability, won over developers. It was a total surprise, even to them. They didn't expect a simple shim to become so popular.
So JBuilder became Dune. But there was a name collision, right?
Yep. A Borland IDE already used the name. So after some community outreach, they chose Dune. Clever.
And then they had 2 build systems to maintain. That sounds like a nightmare.
It was. But Dune was clearly superior. Faster, wider adoption, better API. The question became, when would Jane Street migrate to Dune? The irony.
So, they finally migrated last year? After a long time?
Yes. It took a while. Mostly because of the sheer scale of their codebase. 70 million lines of code. They had to make Dune scale and translate optimizations from Jenga. Plus, they had to migrate integrations from 3 different editors. A monumental task.
So now they're all on Dune, and the future looks bright?
Absolutely. They're actively contributing back to Dune, working on features like distributed builds and shallow builds. They've got a dedicated team of 12 engineers working around the clock. The future is bright indeed.
It's a fantastic story of accidental success, perseverance, and ultimately a much improved build system for the OCaml community. A true testament to iterative development.
Precisely. And a reminder that sometimes the best solutions emerge from unexpected places. Thanks for joining us on Tech Bytes and News. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of OCaml build systems. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today, we're diving into some rather sobering economic news from Germany. Unemployment figures are at a 10-year high, It's a significant jump, and it's sparking a lot of discussion.
Exactly. Almost 3 million unemployed in January. That's a huge number. And while seasonal fluctuations are expected, this is the highest January figure since 2015. That's a pretty alarming trend.
Absolutely alarming. The unemployment rate climbed 0.4% since December, reaching 6.4%. That's an increase of 187,000 unemployed individuals compared to January 2024. It's not just the numbers, it's the context.
Right. The employers aren't mincing words. Rainer Dulger, president of the Confederation of German Employers Associations, called it an alarm signal, saying the economic weakness is hitting the labor market hard. He's calling for urgent action, less bureaucracy, non-wage labor cost reforms, and lower energy prices.
I see. Interesting. He's not wrong. The VDMA, the Mechanical Engineering Industry Association, is also sounding the alarm. They're predicting job cuts in the sector, with 1 in 4 companies planning reductions in the next 6 months. They're focusing on the need to reduce labor costs, too.
It's a perfect storm, isn't it? High unemployment, employers worried about costs, and now we also have the news about retail sales falling unexpectedly in December, a 1.6% drop. That's not a good sign for consumer confidence.
No, it's definitely not. The yearly increase in retail sales is somewhat misleading, given the December drop. The fact that food and non-food sales both fell points to a broader issue than just seasonal changes. It suggests a real downturn in consumer spending.
It all points to a pretty grim picture. The high unemployment, coupled with falling retail sales, suggests a significant slowdown in the German economy. And the fact that this is happening after a general election adds another layer of complexity. The new government will have a lot on its plate.
Exactly. The upcoming reforms are crucial. The situation is serious, and the government needs to act decisively to address the underlying economic issues. Otherwise, this could spiral further.
It's a challenge, for sure. But hopefully, the alarm bells are ringing loud enough to spur meaningful action. We'll have to wait and see how the government responds and what impact that has on the labor market.
We'll certainly be keeping a close eye on developments. Thanks for joining us on Tech Bytes and News. Until next time, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today, we're diving into a fascinating piece. A History of APL in the USSR, published in the ACMSIG APL Quote Quad. It's a deep dive, so buckle up.
I'm really looking forward to this. A PL in the USSR? That sounds incredibly niche, but also incredibly interesting. What's the core argument of the paper?
Exactly. The paper, by Kondrashev and Luksha, isn't just about the language itself, but how it was adopted and adapted within the Soviet system. They detail the various implementations of APL across different Soviet computer architectures. BESM6, MEI, ES computers, even the DVK personal computer. It's a story of ingenuity in the face of technological limitations, you know?
So they weren't just using readily available Western systems, they were building their own APL interpreters?
Precisely. The authors highlight several homegrown APL systems. Think about it. Limited access to Western technology meant Soviet programmers had to create their own versions, often working with less powerful hardware. They document the challenges and the creative solutions employed. It's a testament to the power of APL's concise syntax, making it adaptable even under constraints.
That's amazing. Did they mention any specific applications where APL proved particularly useful in the Soviet context?
Absolutely. The paper cites applications in diverse fields. For instance, there's mention of using APL for modeling local systems in nuclear power plant diagnostics. Also, applications in teaching, and even in optimizing experimental plans for investigating dissolution kinetics. It wasn't just theoretical work. It was applied across various sectors.
Wow, that's a surprisingly broad range of applications. I would have expected something more focused on military or space-related projects, given the Soviet context.
That's a fair point. While the paper doesn't explicitly detail military applications, the versatility of APL likely made it suitable for classified projects as well. The focus on concise code and powerful array operations would have been attractive for complex simulations and data analysis, regardless of the specific field.
I see. So the paper paints a picture of APL not just as a programming language, but as a tool that enabled scientific and technological progress within a unique geopolitical environment. It's a fascinating case study in technological adaptation.
Exactly. It's a compelling narrative of how a powerful language, combined with the ingenuity of Soviet programmers, overcame significant technological hurdles. The paper concludes by emphasizing the enduring relevance of APL, even in the post-Soviet era. It's a testament to the language's elegance and power.
This has been a truly insightful discussion. Thanks for shedding light on this hidden chapter in APL's history.
My pleasure. And thank you to our listeners for joining us on Tech Bytes and News. We hope you found this discussion as engaging as we did. Until next time, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today we're diving into a fascinating article about the unexpected consequences of readily available emergency information. It's a story about a home smoke alarm incident that took a rather unusual turn. Intriguing, right?
Absolutely. I'm already hooked. So what happened? A simple smoke alarm malfunction or something more sinister?
Well, it started with a genuine emergency. A faulty HVAC system caused smoke, leading to a 3 a.m. wake-up call and a call to 911. The fire department came, checked everything out, and, thankfully, found nothing seriously wrong. But then, things got weird.
Weird how? Spill the beans.
A few hours later, a ServPro representative showed up at their door, aggressively pushing his services. Unbelievable, right? They hadn't contacted them, he just showed up. It was like they were waiting in the wings.
That's incredibly invasive. How did ServPro even know about the incident?
That's the crux of the article. It turns out 911 calls often become public information, accessible through systems like PulsePoint. The author suspects PulsePoint provides a free website to local agencies, essentially funneling leads to their app, and, indirectly, to companies like ServPro.
So essentially, a free website for the local agency becomes a goldmine for ServPro? That's a pretty cynical business model.
Exactly. It's a system that capitalizes on people's distress. The author points out that while not illegal, it's a disturbing example of how readily available emergency information can be exploited for profit. It's a bit unsettling, to say the least.
I see. It's a bit like ambulance chasing, but on a larger, more technologically advanced scale. And the lack of consumer privacy protections makes it even worse.
Precisely. The author suggests contacting your home insurance company for approved vendors instead of relying on these opportunistic companies. It's a much safer and more ethical approach. A much better way to handle things.
It's a chilling reminder of how our data is used and misused. It highlights the need for stronger consumer privacy regulations, especially in emergency situations. It's a wake-up call, literally and figuratively.
Absolutely. The article ends with a call for better consumer protection, and I think that's a sentiment we can all agree on. It's a crucial point. It's a fascinating look at the intersection of technology, emergency services, and the sometimes unscrupulous world of business.
Definitely. A very thought-provoking article. Thanks for bringing this to our attention.
My pleasure. And that's all the time we have for today's Tech Bytes and News. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the daily roundup of Tech Bytes and News. See you again tomorrow. Goodbye.